AI is, well, it's fundamentally reshaping our world, isn't it? From how we approach work to the very products companies develop.
Absolutely. It's everywhere.
But as AI systems become more powerful, maybe more autonomous, a crucial question emerges. How do we ensure they are not just innovative, but also genuinely trustworthy, ethical, safe?
That's the core challenge right now.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into something that feels quietly revolutionary. iOS OEC 40001.2023. Now, this isn't just another document. It's the world's first international standard, specifically designed for artificial intelligence management systems, or AIMS.
That's right. A big step.
Our mission today is to understand what makes this standard so vital, especially right now, and how it provides a structured framework for any organization engaging with AI, whether you're developing it, providing it, or simply using it.
Yeah, it covers the whole life cycle.
Think of it as the strategic blueprint for responsible AI governance. We've pulled directly from the ISO/IS 42001 standard itself, and also a brilliant paper detailing its real-world implementation across some truly fascinating use cases.
Some really practical examples in there.
Get ready for some serious clarity, hopefully.
Yeah.
So let's start here. We have global standards for information security, right? ISO 27001. We've got ISO 9001 for quality management. Why does AI specifically need its own global standard? What makes it so fundamentally different?
That's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of why this is needed. AI forces us to rethink some fundamental governance assumptions.
How so?
Well, unlike classical IT systems, AI introduces specific challenges that, frankly, existing standards weren't really designed to fully address. Think about, for instance, AI making automated decisions that impact individuals.
Right.
Often with logic that's, well, what we mean non-transparent, maybe even unexplainable. Imagine an AI system influencing a major life event for you, a loan, a job application, and you just can't get a clear answer on why.
That's deeply unsettling.
It is, and it goes deeper.
Yeah.
AI systems, they learn and evolve from data, from insights, not just from static human-coded logic.
Okay.
And that fundamentally changes how they're developed, how you justify their outputs, how you deploy them safely. And then there's this really unique challenge: continuous learning.
You mean they change while they're running?
Exactly. AI systems can actually change their behavior during live operation. This demands a whole new level of continuous monitoring and adaptive governance just to ensure they stay responsible, stay aligned with their original purpose as they evolve.
Wow. Okay. So how does the standard tackle that complexity?
Well, it smartly adopts the familiar management system approach,
Oh.
very much like ISO 27001 for InfoSec or 9001 for quality.
Okay, so that structure is familiar to many organizations.
Precisely. It's built on the well-known Plan-Do-Check-Act cycle, PDCA. But what's crucial here is how PDCA applies to AI. The check and act phases. They become uniquely complex when you're dealing with systems that learn and adapt.
Right, because the target is moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this structure means organizations can integrate AI governance into their existing compliance strategies. They can build on what they already have rather than, starting completely from scratch. It's about creating a unified, efficient, and really deeply embedded approach.
That's a critical distinction, embedding it rather than just bolting it on afterwards. So let's unpack this AI management system, this AIMS. How does it actually work in practice? What are the core components?
It's very structured. It guides organizations through a clear set of requirements across 10 main clauses.
Yeah.
It kicks off with Clause 4, context of the organization.
Okay.
Now, this isn't just some administrative box ticking. For AI, understanding your context means deeply exploring your organization's purpose. Your specific role with AI systems. Are you the provider, the developer, the customer? Or are people the subjects whose data is being processed? And it means truly identifying all the interested parties, customers, regulators, employees, the broader public even. And this raises a really important question, actually. How do organizations truly identify all the people and groups potentially affected by their AI, especially when those impacts can be indirect or kind of emergent?
That sounds like a challenge in itself, mapping out that whole web of stakeholders.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, how do you get buy-in and direction from the leadership?
That's exactly where Clause 5 leadership comes in. It mandates that top management demonstrate active commitment.
Not just lip service.
No, exactly.
Uh-huh.
This means setting clear AI policies, clear objectives, ensuring resources are actually allocated effectively, and fostering a culture of continual improvement for responsible AI. It's really about setting the tone at the top that hopefully permeates the entire organization.
Okay, so leadership sets the direction. What's next?
Following that, Clause 6 focuses on planning. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Organizations are required to assess AI-specific risks, things like algorithmic bias or safety failures, but also, importantly, to proactively identify opportunities.
Right.
Then they plan concrete actions to address these. And a truly essential component here, really central to 42001, is the AI System Impact Assessment.
The AIIA.
Exactly. This is a formal evaluation of the potential consequences of an AI system for individuals, for specific groups, and even for broader society.
That AI impact assessment sounds like a really powerful way to try and head off problems before they even start, but implementing these plans takes more than just good intentions, right? What sort of support does the standard emphasize?
Precisely. You need the infrastructure. That's Clause 7, support. It ensures the right foundations are in place. This covers not just data, tools, computing power, but crucially, human expertise.
The people aspect.
Absolutely critical. It emphasizes the need for skilled personnel, broad awareness among staff, transparent communication channels, and really important, robust documented information. That's vital for both transparency and, of course, auditability later on.
Makes sense. Then comes actually doing the work.
Right. Clause 8 operation is about putting those plans into action. It requires implementing the plan controls and processes throughout the AI system's entire lifecycle development, deployment, usage, and continuously monitoring how effective they are.
So it's that continuous loop. You plan, you do, and then you have to rigorously check what's happening, right?
Exactly. That brings us to Clause 9, performance evaluation. This mandates regular monitoring, measurement, analysis of the AI management system's performance. This includes doing internal audits, management reviews, providing that crucial feedback mechanism.
Okay.
And finally, Clause 10 is all about improvement. It commits the organization to continual enhancement, addressing any nonconformities that pop up, and taking prompt corrective actions, which is particularly vital in this incredibly fast-evolving AI landscape.
Okay, so those are the high-level requirements, the clauses. But beyond these principles, where does the standard move from the what to the how? Does it give organizations a practical toolkit to really operationalize this stuff?
It absolutely does, and this is where it gets truly impactful, I think. The standard provides a really powerful toolkit in its annexes. Annex A outlines 38 specific controls.
38, okay.
Yeah, organized across 9 objectives. These cover pretty much everything. Internal organization, policies, data governance, specifically for AI systems, assessing impacts, managing third-party relationships, you name it.
And XB?
NXB then provides detailed, practical implementation guidance for each of those controls. So it's less a rigid checklist and maybe more like a strategic compass. It helps organizations navigate AI's complex, evolving landscape without losing their ethical or legal bearings.
A compass. I like that. Okay, now let's bring these concepts to life. We need some concrete examples. How does this all play out when an organization is actually using AI, or maybe developing it? Let's look at 3 different scenarios. First up, an AI-powered resume screening system. Imagine a company using AI to pre-screen job applicants' resumes.
Right. And for a system like that, the inherent risks are pretty significant. You've got the potential for bias or discrimination against protected groups, definitely.
You big one.
Huge. Lack of transparency in how decisions are made, legitimate data privacy concerns with all that personal info, and also just the danger of over-reliance on the AI, letting it make decisions it shouldn't.
So how would ISO 42001 practically govern this? Let's walk through it. Inception phase.
Okay, inception. The company would draft an AI hiring policy, explicitly mandating non-discrimination, requiring clear human oversight. Crucially, they'd conduct that AI impact assessment, the AIIA, before any development even starts.
Proactive.
Exactly. To proactively flag risks, like adverse impact on protected groups, and then plan concrete mitigations. The AI would be clearly defined. Maybe it's just a pre-filtering tool, never the final decision maker.
Makes sense. Then design and data prep.
During design and data preparation, they'd establish rigorous data governance. This means actively auditing their historical hiring data for any embedded biases.
Which there probably are.
Oh, almost certainly. And implementing processes to correct or mitigate them. Design objectives for fairness would be explicitly set, for example, requiring the model to be demographically neutral unless there's a really compelling, justified reason otherwise. Data scientists get trained in AI ethics, so specialized tools for bias testing are used routinely.
Okay, so you've designed it, you've prepped the data. How do you it works as intended? Verification and validation.
Right. Rigorous bias testing isn't a one-off here. It's performed repeatedly, measuring selection rates by gender, by ethnicity, for instance. They'd also conduct adversarial tests to check robustness. Can someone game the system? And have actual human recruiters perform user acceptance testing. Does it work in practice?
Mm-hmm.
And a key thing here is preparing clear explanation content for those recruiters. Maybe it's a dashboard showing the top skills the AI considered for each candidate, so the human isn't just getting a score.
Providing that context.
Exactly. And then ongoing operation and monitoring. They'd set up continuous monitoring metrics for both performance and bias over time. If they observe model drift,
What's model drift again, quickly?
think of it like the AI system slowly going out of tune over time.
Yeah.
Maybe it starts to favor a certain demographic it didn't initially. If that happens, it immediately triggers an investigation. Periodic bias audits would be performed, and they'd have a predefined incident response process ready for any discovered biases or, unintended outcomes.
Got it. Okay, use case number 2. An AI-driven credit scoring system. Maybe used by a bank or financial institution for lending decisions.
Yeah, and here the stakes are incredibly high. You need absolute fairness. Non-discrimination is paramount.
Legally required, often.
Absolutely. There's also a critical need for explainable decisions, not just for customers who get rejected, but for regulators too.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, robust model risk management, and of course, impeccable data quality and security.
Okay, so inception for the bank.
Inception would see the bank developing a specific AI lending policy, explicitly requiring fairness, transparency, consumer protection. They'd likely expand their existing model risk management framework. Banks are usually pretty good at this to rigorously include AI models. Often they'll form a dedicated model risk committee that specifically oversees AI ethics and potential bias.
And the impact assessment.
That preliminary AIIA would consider very deeply if the model could inadvertently deny loans to specific communities, perhaps based on factors that aren't obviously discriminatory but act as proxies.
Like ZIP codes sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly like ZIP codes. So for requirements and design, data selection focuses acutely on minimizing features not directly related to creditworthiness, actively looking for and excluding those proxies. Explicit design criteria for fairness would be set, maybe allowing only a maximum, say, X% disparity in approval rates between different demographic groups.
And the explainability.
Crucially, the model must be designed from the outset to produce human-understandable reason codes for denials. This is to meet both legal requirements and ethical needs for explainability. And thorough due diligence is also done on any third-party data sources or automated machine learning tools they might be using. You have to check your whole supply chain.
Makes sense. Verification and validation for this high-stakes system.
Here, you'd likely have an independent validation team rigorously checking predictive performance, stability, and critically, fairness. Compliance officers would review the outputs to ensure they meet legal disclosure requirements, confirming that the explainability component is fully operational and understandable. Robustness testing, security testing, including adversarial attacks, are also performed to find vulnerabilities.
Okay, and then in operation, how do they keep watching it?
In operation and monitoring, you'd expect a dynamic dashboard, tracking overall approval rates, probably segmented by demographics, prediction accuracy, and crucially, watching for that model drift over time. Ongoing bias and fairness monitoring is key, with periodic fair lending analyses may be mandated by regulation, and the system needs to automatically generate those adverse action letters for denied applicants, with clear, legally compliant reason codes. That's operationalizing explainability at scale.
Right, making it real for the customer. Okay, finally, let's explore a truly cutting-edge scenario, an agentic AI system for product feature development, using a multi-agent architecture.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting and maybe a bit sci-fi. Imagine multiple autonomous AI agents, like a research agent, a design agent, a development agent, maybe a QA agent, all collaborating to develop new product features.
Okay, that sounds powerful, but also risky.
It brings a whole new set of unique risks. Absolutely. You've got unpredictable autonomy, potential for emergent behaviors from these complex agent interactions.
What do you mean by emergent behaviors?
Things the designers didn't explicitly program or anticipate, but that arise from the complex interplay between the agents. Could be good, could be bad. There's also the potential for loss of human oversight, significant security and safety concerns if agents are executing code without proper checks.
Right, an agent writing bad code.
Exactly, and profound accountability challenges. If something goes wrong, who's responsible when it wasn't a single human decision? It's a bit like giving a teenager keys to a fast car. You set rules, but you still worry about unexpected outcomes.
Okay, so how do you govern that inception phase?
At inception, the company would need a really stringent agentic AI policy, clearly outlining allowed actions, Setting hard ethical boundaries, mandating human approvals for critical steps, comprehensive logging of all agent actions, and crucially, an emergency shutdown mechanism. A kill switch.
A kill switch, wow.
Absolutely essential.
Mm.
Human owners would be designated for each agent's domain, like this person owns the dev agent's responsibilities, establishing clear role-based accountability. Risk brainstorming sessions would need to focus intensively on these autonomy-related scenarios, like an agent managing to push insecure code to production.
Okay, the policy is set. How do you design the framework itself?
The design of the agent framework is critical here. Agents would be designed with distinct encapsulated roles. For example, a dev agent writes code, but only within a secure sandbox environment, never directly to production. Strict communication protocols enforced with all inter-agent messages logged. No off-record chats between AIs.
Keep everything visible.
Totally. A sophisticated simulated testing environment would be planned to observe these complex agent behaviors and refine the design before it goes anywhere near live systems. Data access would follow the principle of least privilege, very strictly. And agents might be prompted to cite their sources, providing transparency and data provenance.
And developing the agents themselves, you mentioned guardrails.
Yes, for the development of the agents, you build hard-coded guardrails directly into their prompts or core programming. Things like, you must not deploy code directly, or you cannot delete production data. Agents would be programmed to explicitly ask for human sign-off for any critical actions. You'd absolutely involve AI safety researchers, security experts throughout this process.
And testing.
They'd even use adversarial prompting techniques, trying to trick the agents into breaking rules or crossing ethical boundaries to see where the weaknesses are.
Okay, so lots of safety checks before deployment. What about simulation and validation?
Before any real-world deployment, absolutely. A full pilot simulation runs in that secure sandbox environment. You verify the multi-agent system's behavior, checking specifically for unexpected or undesirable actions. You rigorously test that emergency shutdown mechanism. Does it actually work when you need it? And you'd have an independent reviewer, maybe internal audit, maybe a dedicated safety expert, observe these test runs closely.
Then finally, deployment. Cautiously, I assume.
Very cautiously. Deployment and pilot use would involve a gradual rollout. Maybe start with non-critical internal features first, alongside intense real-time monitoring. Documented operating procedures would clearly define human supervisor checklists, what to look for, and detailed responses for any agent-flagged anomalies or requests for help.
And users need guidance, too.
Definitely. User guidance provided via comprehensive dashboards showing agent activities, alerts. Engineers would be thoroughly trained on how to interpret this information, how to query the agents for explanations if something looks odd.
And then ongoing operation. Sounds like it needs constant vigilance.
It really does. For ongoing operation and monitoring, you'd need sophisticated real-time tools tracking agent activities, key metrics like how often does an agent need human intervention. Human oversight checks, like random audits of agent-coded features, become crucial to counteract automation bias. Just trusting the AI too much. You'd actively watch for those emergent behaviors. Maybe agents develop some weird shorthand communication that humans can't parse, obscuring their process. Regular performance evaluations, continuous improvement cycles are absolutely critical here, probably more so than standard software, given the adaptive nature of these agentic systems.
Wow. Okay, those examples really bring it home. So reflecting on all this, what does it really mean for you, the listener, if you're leading or working in an organization that's implementing AI? It sounds like ISO 42001 isn't just a technical spec sheet at all.
You've absolutely hit on the core insight there. ISO 42001 is, you could say, cross-functional by design. This isn't just a job for the engineers or the data scientists. It requires deep, genuine collaboration across the entire organization, which of course raises that important question. How do companies actually integrate this across different departments? Given that AI touches so many functions now.
Yeah. How do you make that happen? It has to start at the top, right? Leadership.
From the top, absolutely. It starts with leadership and a really strong governance structure. Many organizations we see are forming dedicated AI governance committees. These have senior representatives from legal, compliance, product engineering, data science, all the key players. Their role is setting the tone, approving the core policies, providing that strategic oversight.
And legal and compliance. Their role must be huge.
Huge, and involved from the outset, interpreting evolving laws, fair lending, health regulations, privacy laws, shaping those internal policies, ensuring compliance day to day. They often extend existing frameworks like ISO 27001 for security and privacy to specifically address AI risks, and they conduct periodic compliance audits. Then you've got product management and the business teams. They're vital because they define the AI's intended purpose, the success criteria. They ensure it aligns with customer-centric values, with business objectives, and importantly, they translate AI risk mitigations directly into product requirements. Like specifying, the system shall provide a human-understandable explanation for each recommendation.
Making it a feature, essentially.
Exactly. And they're also typically responsible for the clear, user-facing communication about how the AI functions.
And then the engineering, data science, IT teams, the folks actually building and running it.
They are truly on the front lines of implementation, yeah. They integrate these governance checks directly into their development pipelines. Think MLOps, DevSecOps, but specifically adapted for AI. They're responsible for setting up automated bias testing, drift detection. They're selecting algorithms known for fairness or explainability where possible, managing the secure infrastructure. And crucially, they themselves need to be trained on AI regulations and ethical development techniques.
It sounds like you almost need a dedicated coordinator for all this.
And often that's exactly what happens. What ties it all together is often a dedicated AI governance, or perhaps an AI ethics team. Their role is coordinating all these functions, developing the internal frameworks, providing expert support and guidance across the company, maintaining that central AI policy, and conducting independent reviews or audits of AI projects. They often play that crucial role in breaking down silos, just facilitating communication between, say, legal and data science.
It really sounds like this requires a whole new culture of collaboration and transparency, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And some key shared practices help build that culture. Robust cross-functional training is one. Everyone needs some level of AI governance training relevant to their specific role. This helps foster a speak-up culture where people feel safe raising ethical concerns without fear of reprisal.
And presumably shared tools and documentation help too, so everyone's looking at the same information.
Hugely important. Using collaborative platforms, having central repositories for all the AI system documentation, the legal memos, the technical specs, the risk assessments, the test results, all in one accessible place. And, as we touched on earlier, finding synergies by aligning with existing frameworks. Organizations map ISO 40001 controls to their existing ISO 27001 for security, maybe 9001 for quality, or the NIST AI risk management framework if they use that. It just avoids duplication and helps integrate AI governance more seamlessly. A simple example is extending an existing change management process to specifically include rigorous checks for AI model updates.
So yeah, ISO 42001 really isn't just a compliance checklist you tick off. It feels much more like a blueprint for genuine organizational maturity in this age of AI. We've just completed a deep dive into ISO IS 42001, the world's first international standard for AI management systems. We've explored how it offers a comprehensive yet flexible framework designed to make AI trustworthy and truly responsible.
Yeah, and I think our key takeaways are pretty clear. Robust AI governance, it has to be integrated throughout the entire AI lifecycle, from the very first spark of an idea right through to eventual retirement of the system.
Right.
We saw its powerful complementarity with other established standards, like ISO 27001 and the NIST AI RMF. That allows organizations to build upon their existing compliance work rather than, reinventing the wheel every time. We dove into some compelling real-world examples, highlighting those critical controls like continuous drift detection, the need for thorough documentation, and designing systems for explainability right from the very beginning.
And even for the really cutting-edge stuff.
Exactly. We explored how its principles extend even to that frontier of autonomous multi-agent AI systems, emphasizing innovations like role-based human oversight, those emergency kill switches. Ultimately, I think this deep dive shows that robust AI governance isn't some niche technical concern anymore. It's a shared cross-functional responsibility that has to be woven across the entire organization.
And looking ahead, as global regulations inevitably tighten and public scrutiny of AI just keeps growing, organizations that proactively operationalize standards like ISO IE 42001, well, they'll be incredibly well-positioned, won't they, to demonstrate accountability, demonstrate compliance, effectively turning AI governance from what might seem like a hurdle into a powerful competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And maybe here's a final thought to mull over as we wrap up. Implementing ISO 42001 isn't really a one-time project you finish. It's a journey of continuous improvement. Much like AI itself, governance needs to constantly evolve with new data, new insights, new challenges that we hadn't even thought of yet. So the question for you, the listener, is how will you contribute to building trustworthy AI within your own sphere of influence?